All right, I am back now with part 2 of the Battle Spirits pack opening. Wasn't originally planning for it to be in 2 parts, but it was going on for longer than I intended. It's kind of rambling, and most importantly, the phone that I'm recording this on was about to die. So, phone is charged. I've planned ahead a bit now, and I've snipped off the tops of all of the packs that I still have to open, so it'll be way easier to just slide the cards out and thumb through them. So, I did count the packs. I didn't quite get through half of them last time, so there's actually more to open, but it shouldn't take nearly as long. And with that being said, let's actually get started. If I can remember how I was even holding these things last time. I think that's actually a double. So I was looking at the rarity system because I was kind of curious. I didn't think to do that before I had even started all this. But it seems there are commons, uncommons, rares, master rares, and X rares. I think I already opened an X rare. I think that was the, let's see, I'll pull it out again. This card that I believe is also the cover art. That's not focusing. There we go. I believe this card is also the cover art for the box. That is an X rare. Think that's the highest rarity. You can see I sleeved it. These cards are ever so slightly larger than Magic the Gathering cards, but they still seem to fit in Magic the Gathering sleeves. Just gonna set aside the foil from that last pack. Another double, I believe. When I was looking up this game's name, just Battle Spirits, I got a fairly recent article from some game news website saying that there was a new Battle Spirits video game in development for, like, I think PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Probably Japan only, just given that the game is Japanese only. But I also found that there are perhaps official English translations of a lot of the cards. There is, at the very least, an official English website, which seems to exist because of English-speaking countries in, like, East Asia, where the game is still being made. So, I don't know, I feel like if they're translating the game, sure, distributing globally for the physical card game is difficult, but if they're already making a video game and they already have translations, like, translating the cards is half the work. I could maybe see this game existing internationally as an online card game. Though, admittedly, if they wanted to do that, it might be better off putting it on, like, PC or even mobile devices. Because an online game on console, it just seems like it's destined to die off eventually. Like, if the game's coming out on PS4, well, that's already been sort of replaced by the PS5, even though it's super hard to get because of scalpers and whatnot. And maybe chip shortages are hurting it too. Either way, eventually the PS5 will take over for the PS4. And at that point, online games exclusive to the PS4 probably won't be doing too hot. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about is that while I had suggested that the rules of this game are like whenever you attack your opponent directly, so you attack and they don't block, they take 1 damage. That's actually not the case, I don't believe. Reread the rules, and it's actually the number of symbols down here in the bottom right. So the vast majority of cards, it seems, deal 1 damage. But there definitely are cards that deal 2, probably cards that deal more than that. So I figured I'd point that out. Not like my rules overview was easy to understand. It was fragmented across like a 20-minute video. Seems like the kind of loose rulings kids would have picked up on the playground playing these kinds of games as kids. Then you just kind of make up the rest based on what makes sense. Also, something I said is that I don't think, or I wasn't sure if this game would adapt well to like drafting or playing limited or whatever. But honestly, since I read the rules and saw that the using cards of the same color just decreases cost, you don't actually have colored mana. I feel like it probably could work in a sealed environment because the cards are largely generic. It's just a matter of maybe some specific colored synergies and then obviously getting things out cheaper. But you start with 4 mana, and I guess that's not relevant because I was just saying there's no such thing as colored mana. I was going to say you can play a lot of stuff on your first turn regardless of synergies. Starting to see a lot of the same cards, which kind of makes sense for the commons at the very least. I feel like this game had quite a few interesting ideas when it comes to card effects. Like the leveling system, you'll see that certain cards have certain card text next to different levels, so you only get those effects at those levels. And for the spells, you'll see that some of them have like, I think it's main phase and flash or something like that. The next time I see it, I'll point it out. I think cards get different effects depending on what time you activate them. So they might be able to activate at like instant speed, but if you play them as sorceries, you get a different effect. So this just says flash step, so that's fine. You play it at the flash step as like an instant. And now that I've pointed it out, it'll be forever before I see another card that changes things up, depending on when you play it. Also, that super tiny text in the bottom, like, I guess it's bottom center, kind of, is flavor text. Read a little bit of it, and it seems like some of it might have kind of crappy translations. Oh, here we go. Your main phase and flash step your main phase. So this is a card where, depending on timing, it actually gets different effects. So that's a cool thing. Anyway, the flavor text. Yeah, I had read online that a part of the reason why this game didn't necessarily take off, in addition to the general troubles card games have taking off in the West, where people are heavily dedicated to the big three, the game also had like translation problems. Just in general, I guess I'd have to read a lot more of the cards to know that. And perhaps it's the kind of thing that I couldn't really pick up on without also knowing what the Japanese originals were like. I mean, there could be ruling issues where if a card isn't translated consistently, then the game just isn't necessarily going to work, because card games do rely so much on specific wordings to make sure all the cards work together properly in a logical way. When I looked up that X-Rare dragon thing online, I think I found the wiki listed that it doesn't count as, what's its name, like Siegfried or something, and the wiki said it doesn't count as a Siegfried card. So I'm imagining that's kind of like a in Yu-Gi-Oh, the old accept Frog the Jam thing, where they translated cards with certain text. Oh, that's another fancy looking card. See if I can get the rarity on the screen here. It's in the bottom right. Yeah, that's an M, so I think that's a master rare. That's cool. Oh, and these are first edition. I didn't even know that. Anyway, the Accept Frog the Jam thing, where they just went ahead and translated the cards with whatever they pleased, not really paying attention to the fact that the specific wording was going to matter for card effects. So, like, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, the old Frog the Jam thing was there was a normal monster called Frog the Jam, and then way later on, it became relevant that cards had Frog in their card name because they turned Frog into, like, a supported archetype. So I'm guessing that maybe they did that with Siegfried cards in this game. Huh. Things are kind of out of focus again. There we go. Is this the card that's on the pack art? If it is, see if I can get a pack on screen as well. Certainly looks like it. I've been getting really lucky getting the box art card and the pack art card. Yeah, and this is another X rare. I have no idea if that's actually like a good thing. I don't know what the rates are for X rares. The box that all these cards came in did specify that there's no set rates for the cards, either per booster pack or per box. And it's all just based on averages. I feel like, at least in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is something that I used to watch pack opening videos for quite a bit when I was into that game, but didn't necessarily have the money to buy a ton of cards. I feel like there used to be set ratios where you were guaranteed a certain amount of like secret rares and ultra rares and all that per box. And maybe some of the like really high rarities were genuinely just luck, even across multiple boxes, like when they made ghost rares. But even then, I could be wrong about the guaranteed secret rare thing. I never actually opened boxes myself, and it's been ages since I watched those pack opening videos. There are substantially more cards in this box than I thought there was going to be. I may actually, even though my friends weren't necessarily interested in trying to get anything sealed going or like having a small draft amongst ourselves, I may be able to convince someone to like split these up or split this massive pile of cards up and just make some casual decks and actually play some games. If I could, I might make a video like actually discussing how the gameplay is, because I've been talking about how I think the game has interesting rules, and I definitely like the art, but no idea if it actually plays well. That, or I think there's a community of people who still like make English proxies of the cards and then play online via maybe Tabletop Simulator or Untapped. I think another platform was like Octagon or something like that. So if there are people playing this game in English online, even just unofficially through one of those, play board games online kind of things, maybe I would try and get some games in with that. Because as long as I'm looking into these old card games, it might be a bit more interesting to actually play them, see what they were actually all about. I think there's only one more pack after this one. This one's kind of stubborn, getting it out. There we go. Yep, last pack. Yeah, it's not just the art on the, like, yeah, depicting the spirits or nexuses or whatever that I like. The whole card design is pretty nice. I like the borders. I like the little gemstones they have to represent the damage that you deal. The foil effect looks nice, especially on the higher rarity cards that seem to have, like, custom foil lines to match actual art on the card. I'll probably show those again after I'm finished with all these. Kind of reminds me of the Shin Megami Tensei Demon Decoravia, but I guess it's really just a starfish, so that's not surprising since Decoravia is also basically a starfish. Weird card to end it on. Kinda looks like a way different art style than a lot of the other cards here. And just an absolute ton of flavor text. I'm actually just gonna see if I can focus on that because I'm curious. Oh, that's basically readable. Alright. Probably spent longer on that last card than I did like 3 whole packs. So I'm just gonna grab the X rares because those are the ones that have the really interesting foiling pattern. The Providence Alga. How, yeah, maybe. See if I can. Oh, that needs to refocus, doesn't it? Because I had it focused on the thing that was too close. Might also just be a lighting problem. It's getting late now. But yeah, as I'm turning it, you can see that there's like lines radiating off the bird. Kind of looks like it rotates around when I turn it. And then the other one is the dragon, which I think has the same spinning effect. You can kind of see it along the top. And because this is in a sleeve now, it's from the first set that I opened, it has a bit of a glare. Anyhow, that is now all of Battle Spirits. I had a lot of fun opening these. I like these cards a lot. If I could get another box, preferably from a different set, because there were 5 English sets, I would probably buy it. Maybe not, I don't want to waste my money on a game that I probably won't be playing. But I still have other sets of other games to open up, so I guess maybe look forward to that if you're actually interested in random card games. I'm surprised. The videos actually run almost as long as the first one, even though I feel like I got through it way faster. Anyway, that's it for this time. Maybe stay tuned for some future videos, and if you do, I guess I'll see you then.